people are watching.
All right, we're up.
Okay, so do people see me? Like I just talk as if it's live on Facebook?
Yeah.
Okay, so you also have to get into the screen so I can see you. Shalom, everyone, and welcome to Molly's Israeli Kitchen. This is now new technology. The rabbi and I are going to be making Hamentashens for you today, and the rabbi's in his house, and I'm in my house, and we're going to still do it together. So welcome, Rabbi. How are you?
An early Chag Purim Sameach.
Chag Sameach. So tell us, Rabbi, what are we going to be making today? And tell me about the recipe.
So Purim is one of my favorite holidays. Every year we make Hamentashen in my house, which are these cookies for Purim. Cookies, cakes, pockets, however you want to call them, but they're delicious nonetheless. This recipe that I have, it comes from my mother-in-law's best friend and her congregation in St. Louis, traditional congregation. So we borrowed their recipe, and that's what we're going to be making today.
Why are they in a triangle shape, Rabbi?
Well, that's a really good question. So there's a lot of questions about why, first of all, they're in a triangle, and also why do we even eat them? You know, Hamentashen, there's a number of questions of where did they come from? And some people think it's because in Europe, we used to fold everything into little pockets. The word Hamentashen to begin with is a contraction of two words, or three, depending on what background you think it is. First of all, it could be Haman, the bad guy from our Purim story that we'll read about. And Tashen, which is pockets. So it's Haman's pocket. And the thought is this has to do with Haman's pockets that he had that he would take the money from to pay King Achashverosh at the beginning of the Purim story. There's also a tradition, and there's songs about it. This is what we tell our kids in religious school, that Haman wore a hat with three corners. And so it's to remind us of his hat. Thirdly, the other thing I've heard, there's actually four. The third one I heard is that Tash in Hebrew has to do with weakness. So we remember Haman's weakness compared to Esther and Mordecai at the end of the story. And then the last one is, it actually has nothing to do with Haman, but it's Ha, meaning the, Mun, which is Yiddish for poppy seed, and Tashen for a pocket, because one of the most traditional recipes for Hamentashen has poppy seeds in them. Now, personally, not my thing, but I know a lot of people love them. I'm more of a fruit or a Nutella type of.
I'm a Nutella.
Yeah, but I don't know if you've seen this, Molly. There's been a lot of recipes out there this year of savory Hamentashen. I saw one last night. It was pretzel dough with a hot dog in the middle, like a hot dog circle. It looks kind of good, but I thought, you know what? I'm going to go with my
with the tradition.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm going to add one more thing. In Hebrew, a Hamentashen is called Ozen Haman. Ozen Haman. Now, Ozen is the ear. So I just went now for a whole new theory of maybe it is Haman's ears were triangles. So who knows? So everyone can just pick the one they like the best. And but what's important is that they taste great, right?
Exactly. So we've got this recipe. It's really, really easy. So I'm going to make some here. Molly's going to make some at her house. We hope you're making some wherever you are. And as I said, really easy to do. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our butter and put it in our mixing bowl.
So Rabbi, I see, has got his fun machine over there. And I did it this morning by hand. So I'm going to show you that you can do it by hand too. So I'm going to do that. Now, Rabbi, it says in the recipe margarine.
So margarine would make them kosher or would make them parve. So the congregation that we borrowed the recipe from is a more traditional congregation. where they put, because then if you're keeping kosher, you could then eat these Hamentashen with either a milk or a meat meal.
Okay, so I'm going to be doing it with margarine.
We use butter just because that's what we had in the house.
It
and
tastes better.
It does taste better, but it also works just as well. So you're going to take a cup of butter and your sugar, 2 cups of sugar, and cream it together. So the softer your butter is, actually, the better. And because
Can I put it in the microwave for like 30 seconds? Okay. We'll melt it, make it a little softer. And how much sugar do we add to it?
it is 2 cups of sugar. So we're not going to lack for sweetness in these cookies.
So this is dietary, I see. This is very, very healthy for you. It makes you very healthy, makes you have lots of energy.
Absolutely. I'm about to put orange juice in. So, you get your vitamin C. It'll keep you.
Okay. So I just melted the butter a little bit, or in this case, margarine. And then we add the sugar, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Like a paste.
And I'm just going to do it with my fork to show you how you can do it without the fancy machine.
Yes. Mix master, you can use a fork, you can use a hand mixer, but whatever your preference is, ultimately, as long as it all gets mixed together, that's what you want. There's a couple of comments. Let's see what people said.
Yeah, because I can't see them.
Right. A couple people say hi, and Sherry Faye just agrees with us that fruit or Nutella is the way to go.
So, hi to everyone who's watching. Sorry I can't read the remarks, but Rabbi will fill me in. Okay, Rabbi, once this is mixed together, what do we do?
So,
oh, we lost the Rabbi. I don't know if there you are. Don't go away. I don't know how to do this without you.
So this is what it looks like. I'm hoping it comes up on the screen. There we go. Right, so like that is perfect. So then we're going to add in our orange juice and vanilla. So it's a half a cup of orange juice. And as I said in the instructions, when you're getting your orange juice, we use orange juice concentrate, and you want it to have sort of an extreme orange flavor, or more intense orange flavor. So the frozen orange juice says use 3 cans of water to 1 can of frozen, but we use 2. So just reduce the water by 1/3 to give it a more intense flavor. You can use fresh squeeze, you can use simply orange, but this is the way we've sort of always done it. So you're going to add that in, as well as the vanilla extract, and it's 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Although in my family, I don't know about yours, a teaspoon of vanilla isn't ever exact. If you have a little spillover, it's never a bad thing.
And then we can mix, right?
All together.
Not the prettiest mixture. It smells good.
Taste once it's all mixed in. That looks good.
What?
That's starting to look good.
Okay, yeah, it's starting, the orange juice is starting to get inside. Okay, I think we're good. Now what are we supposed to do?
Now we're going to add our dry ingredients. So it's 4 cups of flour.
Do I do that in a separate bowl, Rabbi?
Do it in a separate bowl, because otherwise, with yours, it probably won't be as big a deal. But mine, if I add it all in here and then turn it on, my whole kitchen will be covered in flour, and that'll be the rest of my day cleaning it up. So separate bowl, 4 cups of flour.
4 cups of flour. 1 second. Let's get the 4 cups of flour together.
The recipe I have says sift it together. Frankly, I've never done that, and it's always turned out fine.
So 4 cups.
4
Yeah.
cups of
Then what?
baking powder.
Can you repeat that, Rabbi?
4 teaspoons of baking powder.
Okay, baking powder. Here, everybody, baking powder. 4 teaspoons. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay.
So then, and then salt. 1 teaspoon of salt.
1 teaspoon of salt. Okay. Then what?
So then we're going to add it in a little bit at a time, incorporating the flour into our dough.
So the dry goes into the wet, or the wet to the dry?
Dry into the wet.
Dry to the wet. Okay. Let's try this. I'm going to mix this a little bit. And now we're going to put that up.
So I
Not
took
put it all in at one time.
Yeah.
It'll be too hard to mix. Now we're going to start mixing it. See, it's starting to become a dough. It's not easy. So if you do have a KitchenAid, what are those things? Yeah, much easier. Sorry, I got a phone call. How do they not know that I'm cooking now?
Isn't it
The whole world needs to know. Okay, and now I am still mixing. I'm kind of wanting to put this in my KitchenAid. Oh, and I'm getting flour all over the place. So maybe what I'll do is I'll transfer it to this bowl. It's deeper. And then it'll be easier for me to mix. Get it all in there.
And what my kids like about this is, every time we make something like chocolate chip cookies or brownies or something, they want to lick the bowl when you're done, or eat some of the batter. Since there's no eggs in here, there's no problem. It's just sugar and butter.
Yum. Wait, Rabbi, I still need a little more time to get the dough. Oh, but I already pre-planned, so I have dough ready if you want. So you don't have to wait for me to finish this.
All right, so you're gonna take your dough out and sort of mash it together into a ball. And one of the things about this dough, you make it ahead of time, like Molly did, but you can make it, days ahead, a few days ahead of time, put it in the fridge, or freeze it. And you get out early enough that you can roll it into the cookie. Done.
So I'm going to put this aside for a minute because my arm is killing me and I want to be on the same page as the rabbi. So I made this morning. Rabbi sent me the recipe, and here I made my ball, and I'm going to take it out. There we go. Here's the ball.
So shaping my dough together. Maybe a little crumbly, that's okay. Just sort of keep kneading it until it becomes a ball. In my house, we end up making usually a lot of these every year because, we want to give them out because the mitzvah to bring these to people as a mishloach manot. But they're just that good that we end up eating a lot of them too. And then we'll put some in the freezer and have Hamentashen.
For next year.
Well, not next year. At least until Pesach, if not a little.
Right. Is it okay that the dough sometimes breaks?
Yeah, that's fine because when you start rolling it out, it'll
Stick together. When we roll it out, do we need to prepare to put some flour on the counter?
Yeah, so I would put some flour on your counter and on your rolling pin.
Okay. Oh, okay. So we'll get that. I just tasted the dough and it's really good. Okay. Not only kids like dough to eat dough.
I have to say I made some earlier and I was snacking on it too.
Okay, so I put this on the like that, and I will get my rolling pin.
All right, so there it is. All right, so I got a rolling pin. And before you roll it out, I'm going to suggest turn on your oven to 350. If yours is like mine, it takes a while to heat up, but mine's good to go. And you're going to want to spray it one time. So you don't have to spray it every time for every batch you put in, but just spray it the one time and it'll be sort of greasy enough or slick enough that your Hamentashen then won't stick to your baking sheet.
But Rabbi, I have a question.
Yeah.
Can you use cookie sheets?
That's what we use. So I use a cookie sheet and just spray it with a little Pam.
On the cookie sheet, you also need to spray.
Yeah, it just keeps these from sticking. I mean, there's a lot of butter in here, so they don't stick, but
Okay.
You can either roll it out as one thing or just, I tend to take just a little bit at a time and roll it out. And I had a cup, hold on.
You don't take the whole thing and roll, you just take a small, okay. Oh yeah, it's easier to roll out this way.
But yeah, it's a lot easier when you have a little ball. And you want to roll it till it's about 1/4 of an inch thick. And
This is fun. Oh, see, I got stuck on the counter and it all ripped, so I'm gonna have to start over again. Don't be discouraged.
What'd you say?
I said, don't be discouraged if it breaks, because mine just broke.
Dough is foolproof. Jack she used parchment paper instead of the spray, and it worked for her too. So thanks for the tip, Jack.
So Rabbi, can you see if this is too thin or too thick? What do you think?
I think it's hard to tell on an iPhone, but I think that's probably okay.
But we're just gonna have to deal because this is our life right now.
Here's the thing, like Hamentashen, Purim is not supposed to be this like prim and proper holiday. So if your Hamentashen aren't perfect, if they don't look, like exact triangles, ain't bayad. Don't worry about it. It's no problem. Because we're supposed to just have fun and enjoy the holiday. There are people that make them beautifully. Don't. But I think it's fine. There's really, really pretty ones, and then there's ones that are what we'll call it more rustic looking.
The ones that are going to be mine are going to be rustic looking.
So then you just take a cup after you've rolled it out and start making circles. And the nice thing about this dough is it really is foolproof. If you go too thin, you go too thick, and you need to just start over and re-roll it, your dough is not going to go bad after a while. For people with kids, it's great because we've had to re-roll many, many times because the circles were too thin or too thick, or there was an issue.
Rabbi, what size cups? What's the best size?
Yeah, like something.
Is this too big?
That might be a little big, but it's probably okay. Glasses.
Then is this too small?
I think you and I have the same cup. So the green one.
Cheers. These are my kids' cups.
Yeah, so we use those. All right, so mine's stuck a little bit, so I'm going to need more flour for the next batch. But
here, I made one. Here's a circle.
Then I like to use Solo brand pie filling because I just think it tastes really good and it has a good consistency. But frankly, you can use anything that's not too watery. You can use, as we talked about earlier, you can use different brands of pie filling. We had one, somebody sent us today that pumpkin filling in it. It was delicious. Nutella. And chocolate chips work. I'm not a huge fan because they don't melt as well as the Nutella does. But there's also, people who put cheesecake filling in there. There's people who put like leche or I had a chalva filled one time. Now, I'm not a huge chalva fan, but the people I was with love it and love their chalva Hamentashen. So anyways,
Before you continue, Rabbi, it's very important to show, because we're teaching how to make this. You see, when we make there's this extra dough here, right? Don't throw that dough out. Save it, put it in a ball, and reuse it. That's the fun of this. See? And then you can make more Hamentashen, so nothing goes to waste.
Right. So the last batch we ended up with just like about that much left, just a little pinch left by the time we were done. And then I made it into just a little cookie. But it's you can keep rolling this out until your Hamentashen are done.
Now what's the stage? What do you do when you have a filling that you like?
Take a little bit of filling. I would say about the size of, maybe half the size of a ping pong ball, or like a third of the center.
A third of the center, not half. Okay.
Be too much. And this is the messy part.
Maybe a little more. You don't want to put too much in there because then it's going to explode, right?
Yeah. Right.
Wait, my beautiful circle just ripped. Something like that. Is that a lot, Rabbi, or should I put less?
Now, maybe a little bit less than that, but I wouldn't say no to that much Nutella either. So.
Okay, so I'm going to take out.
So the key, Molly, is pinching it together. Can you pinch the corners? So
what do you do? Should I show them, or here, do you guys see what I'm doing? I take the corners and then
pie filling. So I have to say I cheated a little bit. My parents came to visit and they brought some from out of town. Although in the past we've found some in the Dunwoody Curve. So that's exactly right, Molly. So what you're going to do is you're just going to take from like one end of it. Here, I'll try and so you can see a little bit better. So you're going to take, from one end and pinch together, and then you fold up the two bottoms. And it's really hard to do it one-handed, but
and what do you do with all the extra chocolate on your fingers? That's the problem.
You either wipe it off or lick it off. Depends on if you're sharing your Hamentashen or not.
Do you know where my Hamentashens are going today? Rabbi, I lost your picture.
Yeah, hold on one second. Because I got a phone call too.
So you're busy too. So my Hamentashens are being dedicated to my Hebrew students. We had a lesson this morning and they're doing so well. And I'm so proud of them that I don't know if anyone knows, I'm doing an adult Hebrew class. And we're having so much fun. And I think they deserve some good Hamentashens because they really are working well. So so I can't lick my fingers. That's the problem.
Yeah, so I'm going to be sharing mine too. So I've just been wiping a napkin. But so it's going to look something like this. So as I said, it's not a perfect triangle, but you get the point. But the key is make sure that your corners are completely pinched. Otherwise, it'll open up and ooze out when you bake it.
Pretty.
And then we're going to put them on our baking sheet and bake it for, it says 10 to 12 minutes at 350, depending on how your oven is. My oven tends to, and every time I've done this in different places, the first batch always takes a little bit longer. So make sure that you keep an eye on it. But this morning when we made some, it took 13 minutes for the first batch. I think they were probably a little thicker. And by the end, we were down to about 11 and a half minutes. And they're done when they start to get golden brown. If they're, depending on how crispy you like it, how soft you like it, you can let it go, another 30 seconds or pull it back at 30 seconds. But somewhere in that 10 to 12, when you start getting that golden brown, that's when they're done. The other
Do you have a sample to show us what you made this morning, or did you eat them all?
I made Nutella earlier, and this is what it looks like.
Wow.
So the other thing is just be careful when you take them out, because I know sake of wanting to eat one right away, the pie filling gets really hot. So just be careful with that when you're taking them out. But just take them out, put them on a cooling rack, and they should be, good to go in about 5 minutes or so to either package up or eat up, whatever your priority is or purview is.
Well, Rabbi, thank you so much. This is a great beginning to start celebrating our holiday. There's nothing better than good food, because us Jews, we know how to eat well, right? Because we don't have a holiday without some food. So this is the beginning of a great holiday. I look forward to celebrating all week with you. We have Thursday, we have the Megillah reading, right? Which I can't wait to see that.
7:30. You're on Facebook and on our website.
And then we have also on Sunday, we have the religious school celebration for everyone, not just the religious school. We have a guest entertainer, and she's phenomenal, and she's going to have a great time with us. So I'm looking forward. Rabbi, do you know what you're getting dressed up as, or are you not going to tell us?
No, I'll share. My kids are really, really, really into Pokemon. And so Noah, I don't even remember what Noah's going to dress up as one, Caden's going to dress up as one, and Marty and I decided to go along with that theme. And the four of us are going to be dressed as Pokemon something for Sunday afternoon. But Molly, just keep in mind too, for everybody out there, we'll have prizes for the best costume for kids, for adults.
Absolutely. Good you reminded me, because I'm going to be dressed up as a bee this year. The Shinshinit Noah, our Israeli teenager who's been working with us, and she's adorable. She's going to be dressed up as a bee too. We're going to be dressed up together. And yes, there are going to be prizes for the best costumes. So sure, and adults, you can get a present too if you guys get dressed up. So it's not just a kid holiday, guys. It's a fun holiday for all.
Right, so kids dress up, adults dress up, and if you want to dress up as a theme with your family, we'll give you a prize too for the best one. And I think, Molly, let's define family as more than one person on a Zoom screen.
Yes.
You don't have to dress up as a family. So enjoy your Hamentashen, everyone. And it's a mitzvah to eat. It's a mitzvah to celebrate on Purim. There's all these mitzvot that we have: hearing the Megillah, eating a festive meal, so eating the Hamentashen, giving gifts of food to your friends and neighbors, and giving tzedakah. So, I hope you all have a great Purim. Molly, it was fun to be able to cook with you today.
It was, and I hope that next Purim, we're doing them together in person.
Amen.
Thanks everyone for watching. Until next time it's with Leslie Fox, our president. It's going to be a surprise what she's making, but look out for the information. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach.